Shalom, Yasha Allah Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High Yahweh. I do so in the name of His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Yasha Allah. Call Aloyam La Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Haraka Kodash, for blessing our elders with the spirit of truth so that we may know. Shout out to the Akim and the Akwaf that's keeping the faith and the works. Y'all keep at it. It's your brother Abaya coming at you with more quoted precepts. Scripture tells us the vision is for an appointed time, and in the end it shall speak, though it tarry, wait for it. Alright? Alright, so I'm paraphrasing, of course. The prophecies in the book are alive. Alright? The words in the book are alive. They come from the spirit of life. Alright? Which is a spirit of holiness. And it's attached to the spirit in the Lord's people that are destined to live forever and ever, even forever. Alright? And that book has a pulse in it. And look at it like this. If you're running, and Scripture tells us, also, I want to say Jeremiah, I'm not sure. But the Lord told the prophet to write it down so that he may run that readeth it. Right? Which, is basically going into, going out and you reading it, you getting the understanding, and you going out and teaching what you know. But look at it like, if you're physically running, and the harder you run, the more, blood gets to pumping through your heart, the harder your pulse is. Alright? So with prophecy, how Scripture tells us that in the end it shall speak, that means on the earth, the prophecies pulsate harder, right? The closer we get to the return of Yahweh Shai, right? In this race called quote unquote life. Scripture tells us run the good race. Meaning, do the best you can living this life. But the prophecies in the Scripture are alive, and they bring life to us. Right? In the Scripture, bringing life to us, it then allows us to obtain, I guess you could say, a healthier life spiritually. Physically, it may be another thing because we're in Babylon, and a lot of stuff we don't have control over. But spiritually, these words bring life to us. And it'll ultimately manifest into actual physical life. 1 Corinthians 15. Isaiah 33. Once salvation comes. Alright? But this is not a book of the dead. This is a book of life. The God that we serve, the power that we serve, Yahweh, right, is a power of life. He's a power to the living. Right? And the more of these words that we have, in our spirit, which is in our mind, the more alive we become. Alright? I bring this scripture out all the time to give an understanding of who Israel is. Right? So you understand that it's not about black or white, it's a spiritual thing. I always go to Romans 8:16 and John 6:63. All right, but those are some powerful precepts. That's why I bring them out all the time. If you haven't noticed, man, I'm also like, I throw haymakers with the scriptures. I know a lot of brothers, they strategic with the jab and movement, so forth and so on. I'm pretty much going for the jugular, going directly to the point. All right, so John 6:63 tells us that it is the spirit that quickeneth. The flesh profiteth nothing. The words that I speak unto you, they are spirit and they are life. So it's life in the spirit. The spirit is in the word. So the more of the word that you have into you, the more life you have into you. The more you abide by the word that is written in the scriptures, the more alive you become. Spiritually, of course. All right? Scripture tells us we eat our defiled bread amongst the Gentiles. So physically, there's only so much we can do. But spiritually, all right, if the Lord has called you from before the world even began, like he told Jeremiah, he knew him in the womb. He knows us. He knew us in the womb for the purpose of and will of the Lord. All right, I know, Babylonian Christianity, they don't really believe that the word is alive like that for real. Not for real. All right, not for real. That's why they keep saying that nonsense about the Old Testament and the New Testament, because they don't understand life. They don't understand death. Right? I'm talking about like literally. They believe, you live your life a certain way, then you either going to the heaven of heavens or you going beneath the earth, as though there is no space outside of the earth, which is ridiculous. Right? Just think of that ridiculous ass concept, man. Above the earth is the Most High, and below the earth is hell. So what's around the earth? What's all that space that's around the earth? Right? How come Babylonian Christianity don't compensate for left and right? Right? And all things circling circumference, the circumference of the earth. Why they don't go into that? Let me get up, man. Stop the madness. Stop the madness. You see me trying to get over. Don't be a bully, bro. All right, defensive driving. That's how you're supposed to do it. Anywho, Babylonian Christianity, they don't discuss what's around, right? Meaning it's almost as though Christians think that everything exists on the earthly plane, and above earth and below earth are two dimensions, two different dimensions, right? But scripture tells us there is no such thing as a hell that's on the earth. The earth is not flat. All right? This is a planet that's basically floating in Yahweh's front yard. All right? And Yahweh, it has a vast surrounding. All right? And I know that may be a little deep for certain individuals, but it is what it is. All right? But the spirit that's in the word that brings us life allows us to see the life that's around us. Right? Think of how the Lord made the earth. Right? Yahweh created the earth. The earth is a living organism. It's alive. Right? From the grass, plant life, insects, how it operates with the sun, how the dirt operates with the plant life, right? It's a living organism, right? we are walking on the earth, a living organism that's around us. It's the same concept with Yahweh, Bashim Yahweh Shai, and the angels, so forth and so on. All right. I hope I ain't going too deep for y'all, man. But it's the spirit talking, All right. Yahweh Shai said he goes to prepare mansions for us. All right. Where did he go? All right. When the chariots came, where did Yahweh Shai go? When in the book of Acts, when the disciples were gazing up. Why were they gazing up? Because Yahweh Shai went up to the Father. All right, he went up to the Father, man, in the heaven of heavens. All right, he got carried back home. You can equate that to, us hopping in a vehicle and going from one side of town to the other. But we speaking on Yahweh, And I know I started off with prophecy as life, and it is. But I'm just trying to explain who gave that life to us and the depths of that book, the book that obtains that spiritual life. All right, that spiritual life that's in the scriptures came from the creator of all things, and it's only for particular people to be alive, to have a connection to Yahweh, and to have a connection to Yahweh's creations. All right, the same way the chariots can maneuver through so-called space, right? Because organically they made like that, Well, I'm trying to think of the phrase here. I'm not gonna hit you, but it's the same thing. Yahweh is connected to all things, and Yahweh made us connected to all things. We literally made in his image, man. First to be, the sons of light, the sons of power, right? And even on, going into a biological aspect of it, some of us have a little bit more melanin than others, but either way it goes, all individuals have melanin inside of them, and melanin is attached to everything on the earth. Right? Everything on this earth is connected to us. That's power. Power is life. Right? Power is life. Prophecy is life. And the Lord chose us to have more of it, abundance of it, than any other people. And that's something, to marvel at, and something to be appreciative of. Yahweh chose us, man. Right? Another cut against Babylonian Christianity. How Babylonian Christianity will have you believe that you can choose the Most High it don't work like that, man. Right? Yahweh chooses. Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai chooses. That's what he said out his own mouth. Right? So, saying all this to say, it's about to get dark in this world, and to stay alive, you need life in you. Right? And the life is promised to the Lord's elect. Right? Scripture says, the man that wandereth out of the way of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead. We are not of the night. We're not of darkness. Right? We are of the light. We are of the day. We are of life. Why? Because we are connected to the giver of life. Especially, he chose us. He loves us. He knows us. Right? Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai Ratazah, when we enter into the kingdom, we'll be known as Yahweh's friends. And the world will see us as the life givers that we really are. Right? Because Scripture tells us the nations are going to come to us to get understanding of the word. They're going to come to us to know how to live righteously. How to live, period. All right, so maintain life, Yasharallah. Shalom. Call Haloyim La Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai Bahasham Harakakodash.